everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Discarded DevLog series. Today we have Tre with us. Hey, Tre.
Hey, how's it going?
I should probably have introduced you by your full name, Tre Watson, but hey, who are you?
I'm just Tre. Every Tre that you've met, they're all a piece of me. My name's Tre Watson. I am the music director on this project. Outside of that, I'm also a composer, audio engineer, media specialist. It's kind of what I do as my trade. Yeah.
A whole bunch of hats.
Too many of them.
I was about to say like a bunch of hats in a bucket, and then I realized that that's not really a term.
I'm probably dating myself with how old I am, but I wear so many hats, I feel like I belong in Team Fortress 2.
Just to get a bit of history on you, how did you get started in music?
Sure. I've mostly been doing like just musical projects my whole life, pretty much from the get-go as a kid. But getting into gaming kind of happened by accident. A friend of mine kind of pushed me into auditioning for Mick Gordon's Hell Choir for Doom Eternal. I literally just submitted a video not thinking they were going to pick me. They told me they wanted to be part of the game's soundtrack. I flew out to Austin, Texas, where I got to do death metal screams for like 8 hours to be part of an insanely awesome game. And then about a year later, one of my covers kind of got caught on the Reddit front page by Christian Linka, aka Preco. He's the also the showrunner for Arcane, if you don't know. He
oh, cool.
He made a comment on my cover where he just goes, "Fuck, maybe it is time for Pentakill 3." From there, I kind of reached out to him, and he pulled me on to work on Pentakill, the third album. It was really, really cool.
Imagine being the inspiration behind Pentakill 3.
It's still something I don't really, I have a hard time believing that really happened. It feels like that's like my whole career sometimes.
Yeah, and admittedly, it's where I found you from when I first reached out, is I was just at like, I think it was probably 1 or 2 in the morning, watching the Pentakill and listening to it, and just happened to go, okay, I wonder who worked on this. And I started going through the credits, and that's where I found your name and reached out.
Very cool. Dude, that's so awesome. From there, I've worked on a few other indie games. I lent my rapping to a rhythm-based shooter from a company called Jaw Drop Games. The game was called Gun Jam. It was similar to, I forget what the name, the metal one. There was like a metal-based game where there was a rhythm shooter.
Metal Hellsinger?
That's the one. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was kind of like a similar take to Metal Hellsinger. I've also done some work for Wizards of the Coast for their Kamigawa Neon Dynasty set. And yeah, dude, that one was a really cool gig. And most recently, I was one of the composers for the upcoming fighting game 2XKO, also by Riot.
Yeah, and honestly, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is what got me back into Magic. So it's really cool seeing your name attached to that part of the project.
As I sit here surrounded by Commander decks and cracked open packs, yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to play sometime. I've been
Absolutely.
needing to get back into Commander.
100%.
What
I
was it
wanted to
like?
ask.
Oh, please.
Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Oh. I just wanted to ask, I mean, since you make music primarily for games these days, I mean, what is it about making music specifically for games versus, I don't know, maybe just making music for anything else that you kind of enjoy? Like, what is it about specifically game music that, you know, you kind of find like a love for it in?
I mean, honestly, I'm constantly writing music, whether it's for a game. I mean, I also have a YouTube channel where I put out stuff like once or twice a month. But for writing for games, the cool thing is, especially for projects like 2XKO, where there is no sonic identity whatsoever, they just come to me and go, "This is the vibe we want. Can you try and like put something together?" It feels like a fully vibes-based puzzle that I have to solve musically. It's a really it's an interesting idea.
Challenge.
Oh, it's so wild. And like the projects that I've been into are so different and varied that like I love the fact that I don't sit still in a musical style for too long. I was a little worried when I first started doing like the Pentakill thing that like I was just going to be the metal guy and that was just going to be my niche forever. But it's been really cool to see that like people value what I do for other things.
I think there's something almost magical about working in game development with that, is that, you know, you're never really doing the same thing for too long. It's always, let's jump from this genre to this genre, and then from one thing. Like, Trevor's talked to me about ideas of how, you know, we see how kind of dark and more gritty Discarded is, and then the next day he goes, hey, so I have this idea where you're stupid wizards shooting each other, and I go, okay, yeah, alright.
I mean,
which I am very excited to say that's going forward soon.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I feel like that's like the cool part about like working in game dev, right? Like every single thing is its own like idea and it kind of lives on its own. Like I kind of just love the idea that like no two things are ever the same, and as long as it's fun, it's worth it. Like that is the coolest thing about doing this.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that really appealed to me when it came to game dev is I knew from early on in my career that I needed something that wasn't the same every day. Otherwise, I would lose my mind. I needed some like variety in my life.
Absolutely.
I think there's also something magical about, and I mean, this is obviously, you know, a little silly and everything, but I think it's really amazing getting to work with so many different disciplines. I mean, seeing a character that's like, hey, I want you to make a character for this organization, and you make it, and then they become drawn, and then, you know, we make music on it, which we'll talk on later, but it just seeing it go through the pipeline and everyone put their little touches on, it's like everyone's kid in a way. We're all putting all our effort into making this one product.
Yeah, and it is really such a cool experience to see it all come together. Like, I was playing the new build that we have internally today, and just finally getting to see, like, the map, the VFX, the animations, just everything come together was really cool.
Oh, I can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, and it's really coming together and looking really good.
I'm excited for us to get, like, the music in.
Yeah, the music is going to be a big step.
Oh man, wrangling these things, it's going to be so good.
Trey, I want you to know, I have one of the people who's going to be playtesting for us, like, offering to write letters to you and Matt on how important it is to have that in the playtest.
I love that. I mean, I'm literally scrambling behind everybody right now to be like, give me your stuff right now. So
yeah. And at the same time, like, we still do want to let it have time to cook, but
oh, of course,
the deadline's closing in.
Well, my main idea right now is, I just want to get everything in, even if it's not finished. I just want to kind of let that mood set in. I feel like, you know, right now as we're kind of coming to, I guess, a point where we're going to start, you know, layering everything up and getting like a really good slice of like the game. I just want to make sure that like we're fitting the vibes right. I recently had a call with John, another one of our composers, and we just kind of sat and literally just kind of like vibe checked the 2 tracks that he wrote, and we were just like, does this carry or does it not? How long does it take to get to the point? And like, that's the whole idea. We just really want something that's gonna like catch people as soon as they're like moving through different parts of the game. They're gonna be like, oh wait, what's that? That's kind of like what I'm looking for with our team.
Yeah, and it's also been fun with... Oh, please.
I was gonna say, and I think it's really important, especially with music, music gives a game, I think, such a strong identity. And, I mean, obviously with games there's so many little things, but music is something that really draws them in. I mean, when I played, when Trevor had me play Metal Gear Rising, it was Metal Gear Rising Vengeance, right? Yeah. And just playing that for the first time and hearing the music just kick in like the first boss fights, it went from me getting frustrated because I couldn't parry the damn Blade Wolf. Blade Wolf. Oh my god. I went from utter frustration because I couldn't figure out the damn parry system to just being like, okay, wait, this music is really cool, to the point where I still didn't understand how to parry until the very last fight with Sam. But once you get there, and I finally learned, and then the music kicked in, and it's like every little piece of my experience had like become an amalgamation and joined together, and I was like, actually, this game is fucking great. Despite the whole time, I hated it so much. But that final moment with the music kicking in felt so satisfying.
And that was very funny for me because I was with you for that entire experience. It was like our own little hangout sessions whenever I'd have you play it. And I stepped away for like 5 to 10 minutes to go handle something around the house. And I came back to you during that Sam fight, walked in and just going, I get it now. It all makes sense to me.
It's like the stars aligned, the sun shined, and it's just, I get it, and the music starts chiming.
It's so good.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment.
There's just something especially like awesome about Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance too. Like,
yeah,
as convoluted and crazy as that plot is, it is still just kind of like
campy.
Big, stupid, dumb fun, and that's, God, I love that.
Yeah, and
I mean,
in so many ways. Oh, please.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and I mean, I won't go too much into it, but definitely a lot of that game gave a lot of inspiration towards some of the characters, and especially one of the ones we're gonna be talking about later today was very inspired by Mr. Sundowner himself.
And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I was going to talk about as well. It's just, I don't think you can make the type of game that we are making at this point and not pull inspiration from Metal Gear Rising. It's had such a cultural significance in, like, especially with its return in the media presence. It's one of those cult classics that just kind of is felt in everything that comes after.
Absolutely.
To hop back a bit, I am a little curious. What was it like working with Riot Games?
Each project kind of ended up being a little bit different, but they're all really cool in their own ways. The Pentakill project was really different. It was the middle of the pandemic, so like we weren't able to really like get into a room and really kind of like write together the same way that you'd expect to. But I loved the ideas that we had that we kind of like explored as we're doing it. I'm super not used to the idea of like, we had a pretty big group of people writing, and we had someone writing point and someone writing anchor for writing the songs. And then as those are being developed, everyone else jumps in and gives their feedback. So like for Pentakill 3, there really was no song where like a person didn't have involvement. Everybody had some sort of say in every part of every song. And that's really interesting compared to like other projects that I've done where you're just kind of like, here's the vibe, here's what we got you doing. Go ahead and have fun, and we'll come back if we have notes for you.
Yeah. Can you elaborate on those that term you use, point and anchor?
Sure. I guess for Pentakill, we had a primary writer whose idea was to kind of set the basic structure, and that's what we kind of called point. And anchor was like a person who would give supporting ideas, maybe like suggest changing things, since those would be the two most responsible for the song. It's kind of like having your own like person to check you as you're writing for each song. And it created a lot of really like interesting ideas as things were going. I mean, we kind of had that happening a little bit. I guess, is it okay to talk about that? Like, we kind of had some of that happening with the theme. Yeah. There was a lot of like, we had an idea, someone would say what was going on, and then the thing that I wanted people to do, and eventually I think they kind of got the hint, was like, don't worry so much about whether someone thinks it's okay, just do it. The worst case scenario is if it's not there, you just get rid of it. And, you know, looking at how is starting to shake out now, like it's gonna be huge. So I'm really excited. I'm glad to see that we kind of had some of those things like reflect that, like, I'm familiar with and see it happening here already.
Yeah, it's been a very cool process, and I think having multiple people kind of all work on a piece was something that was very new to us. For the most part, it has been Mario Celo Nunez, who's been doing a lot of the music just kind of on their own. The way that would work is typically I'd pay them the commission up front and half at the end, and I'd just kind of leave them to their own devices, give feedback as I got updates and demos. But it's been really cool and refreshing to see everyone just kind of working together on a piece to make it as good as it possibly can be. Absolutely.
2XKO was a little bit different. A lot of our team were pretty familiar with each other. The two audio leads there, Eugene Kang and Mike Pittman, this was kind of like their first, foray into really like helming a project. And I think they did an excellent job of kind of like getting us all together to like get the right vibe. Like 2XKO is going to be such an interesting thing when it comes out. Like I can say right now, like as we're recording this, it's August 1st. It is the first day of EVO in Las Vegas. Some of the music going up to that demo is close to, if not the final iterations of what we've been writing. I just recently had to kind of go back through a few of them because we're going to have to make some small changes. But it's so different from like what typical fighting games are. And having like a task like that, I'm finally just getting to see a little bit of what that's like, being like, we've never done an idea like this before. How will we do it? Looking back on my time for 2XKO, they did a great job of kind of like wrangling a bunch of different styles and making it feel coherent.
How's it been, transitioning from working on such a big, expansive project to something much kind of smaller over here with us? We're more of like an indie group compared to something so big.
To be honest, I don't view it any differently. Like, at the end of the day, like, the goal is to make something musically that connects to the people who are going to play it. And, that's my goal at the end of the day. Sure, the team is smaller and, like, we're, doing a lot of this just, like, with the time we have. And that's totally fine. But I don't really think anyone's attitudes really change too much, like, between doing AAA project and doing an indie project. It's the same amount of passion. It's the same amount of like love for the project going into it. Really, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to hear.
It is nice to hear. And I do want to, again, just say thank you for being here. Like, it does mean a lot.
Of course, dude. Like, I still, like, when you sent me the email and pitched it, I was already just kind of like, okay, wait, like, big if true. And then when you started showing me stuff, I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'm in.
Yeah, and it's been one hell of a journey so far.
Yeah, man. Like, seeing like where things were just when I hopped into like where they are now, like I'm really, really excited for people to see stuff.
It's honestly been really fascinating as well to see, because we have such an odd mix of, people who are just entering the industry or are, still, this is their first real serious project, working with people who have been in the industry for years now. It's just such an interesting dynamic to see the two kind of groups interact and learn from each other, and it's really wonderful actually, like, to see it, because so often, as people who have never really gotten a chance to get into the industry properly, a lot of it tends to be really closed off and sequestered, and it's really hard to get any information at all. So there's so much to learn and experience just making the game with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of these industries feel more closed off than they actually are.
I feel like 100%.
Yeah, I feel like people underestimate how willing people are to like talk and share ideas and principles on the fields that they're in. People love talking about what they do and what they work on. And
100%.
As egotistical as it can be, like, people love talking about themselves. So if you give them the chance, most will be happy to do so. Especially if you come to them with an idea already set in place and with the backing of other people who have put it together.
We're all just yappers at the end of the day.
at the end of the day, yeah.
I very happily spent like over an hour just talking about the secret lore of Discarded before to someone. Just they ask questions and I go, okay, well actually we have this piece that goes into that, and there's this whole lore and this whole mystery, and I can just yap and yap and yap about the characters and the story and until my mouth goes so dry, completely dry.
It's so good. That's kind of what's been going on, like on the music end. Like, I've kind of been put in charge of reaching out to a few potential people to pull in, and every single person, first of all, I'm reaching out to people that I never thought I'd even be talking to, which is great and crazy. But then, you know, I pitched the idea to them and they're just like, yeah, you kind of had me from the second paragraph in. I'm ready. Like, what's going on with this? Like, it's really wild that even like happens. It's really cool.
Same here, frankly. Like, I never thought I'd meet anyone who worked on Pentakill unless I ended up at Riot. So it's been really cool to have you on board, and then progressively talking to more and more people who have worked on things that inspired me. I mean, which we'll bleep that out, is a crazy one, or we'll just cut it. But alone is such a crazy pull-in because Metal Gear Rising is one of the tracks that inspired this game.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Just that whole OST.
It's so weird. I'm kind of glad that I could make that connection because it's one that I wasn't really even sure was like one.
When you're creating music, especially for like your YouTube channel, it's a bit more obvious, but what are some inspirations for you in how you produce your music and what genre you chose to get into?
So, yeah, especially if people have seen what I do on YouTube, like my like 3 biggest genres that I have always been into are like metal, like electronic, like drum and bass, dubstep type music, and hip hop. That's just always kind of been like my 3 pillars for like, yeah, my 3 biggest inspirations musically, especially if you look at like what I do on YouTube and what I do for a lot of projects. It's like metal of pretty much any type, but especially like metalcore and progressive metal. EDM of pretty much any type. I'm a huge fan of like future funk, like drum and bass, a little bit of just other like more chaotic things like dub and stuff like that. And probably like the biggest one, which surprises more people because they think I'm a huge metal person, is hip hop. Like I've been a hip hop fan from day one of my life. It's just, and kind of, I'm just a huge fan of like a bunch of different styles. Really, I kind of can get into everything, but those are like my main 3. And I will always try and find a way, no matter what genre I am writing in, to like bleed some elements of those in, like every time without fail.
Yeah, and for one of the future levels, we're definitely hoping to incorporate at least a little bit of hip-hop into it too.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know we're planning to put in so many different genres of music.
Yeah,
I love that though.
Me and Trey have had extensive conversations about that.
Oh yeah, we're conspiring. This whole thing is just gonna be like, this OST is gonna have something for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, as we've not like tried to hide whatsoever, the plan for the full game is about 46 vocal tracks, not including the instrumentals.
You're getting your bang for your buck musically. Oh yeah,
It's a lot.
it's gonna
And
be
like
so
as a non-music person, listen, Trevor shows me the tracks and I just go, hey, can you send me that? I want to listen to it on repeat. Like I wish sometimes that I had it just saved to my computer so I could add it to my like discarded like work playlist. Just because I'm like, this is so, especially, I think it was the Abdul track that just kept getting stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dun, dun, dun. And then Trevor's like, is that the Abdul theme? And I'm like, maybe. Can we listen to it again?
Oh man.
And then I'd pull it up and we'd listen through.
When we have like a demo out, the one thing I'm just going to be watching Twitch for is just the person who's going to sit there in combat just because they just want to listen to the music. That's what I'm waiting for. There's gonna be one
So
person who's gonna love it so
yeah.
much that they make like a 10-hour loop on YouTube. That's gonna be my like fulfillment moment.
There's our 10-hour
Yeah.
guy.
I've joked in the past about the fact that if we get the same compliment that Guilty Gear gets, where it's like, hey, I paid $60 for a cool OST and it came with a free fighting game. Like, that
I'm
will
ready.
be the biggest compliment that we could get.
Absolutely.
I mean, every time Trevor comes to show, like, the whole team a new demo, we all hop in a voice chat, and he's like, all right, we're gonna listen to it now, and, like, sometimes we'll be like, wait, no, I'm not on the stream, hold on.
I love the excitement from like our team and just every person who I've been talking to about it. I'm so glad that people are hyped for this, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all pouring our hearts into this, whether it be on the music or the programming. Every bit of it is just, hopefully, it shows too, oozing that passion. Hey Trey, how did you join Discarded?
Oh, how did I join? Man, I don't know, man. Just saw this guy on the street. No, I'm kidding.
Trevor drove up next to you in his car, leaned over, hit you in the head with a pan, shoved you in his car, brought you to headquarters, and said, you're gonna make music for us. And you went, okay.
Exactly.
That was it, right?
Yeah, that feels about
That's how
Trevor.
we got
Yeah,
all
it
of
feels
us, right?
Feels right. No, literally,
Someone
like,
please let me come home.
it's such a wild thing. Like, I had just finished my contract with 2XKO for the main part of our music. And I just started looking for like next gigs, seeing what's going to be coming through. And normally, like when you apply for some of these companies, they give you these huge, like magnanimous lists of like what they're looking for and what their game's going to be. And I just get this like regular email from this dude named Trevor. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know. Normally with stuff like that, when it's like very plain, I kind of like squint a little. But just the way you described it felt real. Didn't feel like someone sending me like AI garbage in my inbox. So I was just like,
send us $2,000. We'll pay you back like $10K once we get our bank account unfrozen.
exactly. Oh, it's even worse for people who have like, oh, hey, would you like to like be part of this game we're developing? It's got Web3 assets and there's a lot of opportunities for people to play and earn money. Like, it's garbage. I hate it. So
Yeah, no.
Trevor, weren't you also recently given like, you know, people trying to be like, hey, look, I see you're a game director. Do you want to be part of this cool new AI venture?
Yeah, so ever since I put like the CEO like job description or even founder in my LinkedIn, every message is someone trying to sell me like either their business development service, usually involving AI, or just straight up their AI service.
this is where things are now. This is just life now, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So I guess this is a good point to say, hey, we're not using any AI in Discarded, and we have no intention of doing so.
Au natural, baby. That used to be a totally like nothing term, but now suddenly it's just gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
I feel bad for the people who are like specialized in designing AI in terms of like enemy intelligence in games.
Oh my
because
God,
Right.
their
right?
whole role is
Yeah.
just being. Whenever someone says AI engineer now, they assume that you mean like
Oh my
generative
god,
AI.
you work on ChatGPT? No, I design enemy. I design enemy AI. Please, hire me.
so yeah, when you reached out, you just actually gave me like a real description of what you wanted to do, and it had like a ton of heart, and I was just like, you know what? I still had a little suspicion. I'm just like, okay, let's send an email. If this feels weird, I can always just be like, no thanks. But honestly, like, and I guess this is like the through line the whole time we've been dealing with like anything Discarded, like the passion and the love for this project just kind of comes through immediately. So I was like, okay, like I know initially you wanted me to just write a song, but
Yeah.
as we started kind of like going through everything and me seeing what you had going on, I just wanted to see what you needed to kind of help push this project farther. And I was still a little worried about it because I've never, this is my first time music directing a project, but I decided, like if we're going all in, just kind of like putting our chips down on the table, I would want to actually like put forward the resources that I have. And, you know, thankfully I've got a lot of people who are in my corner. I'm learning from them. It's been a good experience to kind of learn in this seat. But yeah, I offered to just help, you know, direct putting music together to kind of like guide the project. And it's been great so far.
Yeah, and it was definitely a bit of a like two-part process for us. Like we both were kind of getting to know each other as the project was starting out. Like I knew exactly where I wanted to place you at first when it came to like, here's the first song I want you on. But as we kind of like started talking more and getting to know each other, you mentioned like wanting to get more into the directing side of things, and mentioned the projects you had worked on and the people who said that that's a pretty good place for you. And when I knew that other people were willing to vouch for you in that position, and I was confident in having seen the work you'd done and knowing your taste, I went, yeah, I'd love to have you in this position, and I think you'd do great. And I still do. Like,
yeah.
You're doing an amazing job so far.
Well, thank you very much. We're doing our best, man. I think we've got we got a good team, and everyone's coming up with some like amazing tracks. So yeah.
But yeah, how has it been being music director for Discarded so far?
It's been fun. Like a little bit of chaos having to as we get closer, having to like wrangle people, being like, "Hey, you, what are you doing right now? Tell me what you're doing." But
the way you talk about it sounds like you're like looking at a dog, like, "What's in your mouth? What's in your mouth? Drop it." Like the way that you're talking about it.
For some people, it has been. But for the most part, everyone's been really like excited to hop on stuff, so it's been pretty easy. Like, now that we're kind of pulling all of the initial tracks for this demo together, it's really interesting to see how everyone's been planning stuff. Some were way easier than others. I can tell you, shop theme, Trevor? I think that took us like less than a week to just be like, hey, do this, do that, and then we're good. But then some other tracks have been like Herculean, but it's also just because we think the impact is like important. We want to make sure that we're hitting just right when we hit.
And yeah, I guess that leads into our next one is we are doing a lot of emotion behind all of our music and figuring out how we want to convey that through both the genre and the music itself has been a really interesting task. And that kind of leads us into talking about Typhos.
But yeah, Typhos is an interesting character because, I mean, one of his direct inspirations was a character like Sundowner. But he's a lot more, a bit down to earth, and he's down to earth in his brutality and cruelty, and he's definitely one of the harder characters it was for me to write. Typhos is one of the commanders at JSTAR, which is our local paramilitary group. One that you'll be learning about more possibly in the future and definitely in the game. Typhos is a character who has gone from working with the US to working against it with the secessionists, to going back with it, to going to now work for JSTAR. He is someone who goes wherever the winners are, I guess. He goes wherever he can. Yeah, thank you. He's very much an opportunist, not an opportunist. Oh my god. He's very much an opportunist and someone who demands loyalty while also not giving it to anyone else. He is... I can't go too much into spoilers because he's very involved with the first boss of the demo that you'll be fighting. Bro! Kiwi, you've been quiet all day. Oh my god. He's literally been quiet this whole time until I start talking. But Typhos is a character who is very openly cruel and is confident in that. He's very cold but very charming and doesn't really mind who he has to hurt to get to what he wants. And he's not really a character who wants to go, lead his own organization, but he wants respect and he wants loyalty despite not giving it. He's very kind of the character who will lead by fear and use violence to inspire that fear. But he's a very interesting character who you almost love to hate because he also is kind of charming. He's such a horrendous character, but he's so honest about it. Like, he doesn't try and hide it. He doesn't try to pretend he's not an asshole or, a POS about it. but he's so open and honest about who he is that it's sometimes you love it. You love to hate him.
Just Trevor, just look at this guy. Tell me that does not evoke it.
That is so. That almost looks exactly like him in some regard.
We're gonna give you a better facial close-up just to really drive this home.
Okay, little less so there, but yeah.
Oh, I think you'll get it, but yeah, I can see it a lot.
Let me pull up some Crocodile fan art. All right, I'll
like knowing what we know about One Piece, like One Piece fans will get so much out of that.
Like, tell me someone's not gonna do this to Typhos. Like, tell me. I mean, we're kind of already bringing it up, but tell me people won't do that to Typhos.
I mean, yeah, they will.
Like, he's an asshole who's gonna treat you like a piece of shit, but he's gonna be hot while doing it.
I guess to kind of bring this together, Tre, what's it been like writing for Typhos? What has that process been like for you, from taking it from this point in story to turning it into something that's conveyed musically?
Oh man, we've had so many, like, you and me have had a lot of talks about this one. We've made an inspiration playlist, which, you know, I feel like at some point we'll have to like really like curate and drop those, because like that would be cool. Make like a companion playlist for each character. But man, like so much of just kind of, again, like I'm a very vibes based person when I write. So the whole idea is like we kind of nail down like what his deal is and then find what works musically. And for Typhos himself, like, I remember the big thing that we had is just, he's imposing, he's intimidating, like, he kind of doesn't care, like, he's just like, he's very in your face and like imposing. That he is the constant threat of aggression, basically. Yeah. So
he'll very happily be that threat of aggression.
So the kind of idea that I wanted for a lot of those, I'm kind of leaning into like electronic music, but the idea is some of our original inspirations were stuff like Trent Reznor, just the whole Nine Inch Nails vibe, something really driving on the bass. But something I'm kind of trying to find a way to add in is another more experimental industrial act by the name of Author and Punisher. That something about that screams kind of Typhos to me. Like Author and Punisher's music, he's a mechanical engineer who built this giant hulking 2-ton piece of, frankly, just machinery, but it is like every instrument he needs for his set. If you ever get a chance, you should just Google a live set of Author and Punisher. It's this man surrounded by a big hulking mass of metal that makes his music for him. Something about that was like both aesthetically and musically very Typhos to me. So I'm trying to find some ways to kind of like give that, but scale it back just a little.
Yeah.
And
no, please.
And then kind of like moving into like some other segments, we kind of wanted a kind of new metal, Limp Bizkit-y kind of vibe. One of the big things we were kind of looking through for that was the Gurren Lagann soundtrack, because so much of that just has a good vibe for like manifesting that aggression without the imposing like threat line of it in my head. That's kind of how I viewed it. So like, you know, you go from just talking to being about action. So kind of like those are the two sides I'm trying to like meld together for it.
Yeah, and Nikopo and To Hell With Your Combi especially.
It's feeling good.
Yeah, I really can't wait. I mean, I think it really says something about the track you're making for him, considering Sev, the artist of Typhos, hated his guts until he heard your track for Typhos, and then immediately went, ooh, maybe he's not so bad, actually. Maybe he's not that bad.
He also thought that you were the voice actor for Typhos when you were doing that low gravel in the beginning.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm just saying, it would be pretty good.
It's not off the table, but we'll see.
Making my voice acting debut? Yeah, totally.
But with that, I mean, is there anything else you want to immediately talk about?
I was trying to see if anything would come to me. No, not really. I think we're kind of covering everything that I'm feeling good about. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I guess that brings us into the Q&A section.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Q&A! Sparkles, sparkles, light flashing. First question is from both Menacing Milkman and Sonia. Are there animals? Are there cute little guys? And if there are animals, will there be a dog? And if there is a dog, can you pet the dog? So, there's no, as far as right now, there's no immediate pet or animals, but during the first route, which will be available during the demo, there is an event you will come across that does involve a little robot dog you can find. And one of the options, in fact, is that you can pet him, and he may end up becoming a bit of a friend for the rest of that run. The other options, I don't want to talk about. They make me really sad, and I'm the one who wrote them.
What all did you write for that event, Rose? The dog's always okay, right, Rose?
Oh.
No.
There's no potential harvesting of a robot dog?
No.
So what I'm hearing is you don't have to pet the dog, but you better.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you know what, you don't have to.
Look, all I'm going to say is your writing is the reason we can't say no animals were harmed in the making of this game.
I'm sorry. But it can become your friend. It can become your buddy. If you choose for it to be, and if you don't, then I don't know. It might
and
be
you
really
better.
Sad.
If you don't, I know where you live.
I want you both to know this. If we have, there is a sound effect planned. If you choose the bad option, we will be making you feel bad with a dog whimpering.
Oh yeah.
Dog whimper and then yelp.
Yes.
The guilt is gonna sit with me. Oh my god.
Be good to animals.
You can pet the dog, and there is a cute little guy, and he's very cute. We're just not gonna talk about what could also potentially happen if you don't pet him. We're not gonna talk about that. Experience it for yourself. Do they say discarded in discarded?
You know, I don't want to give away too much, but like, wouldn't it be cool if we got to the end of the game and they just said, you know, in the end, we discarded the discarders, and the credits roll?
Wow. You know what, Trevor? I think we should put Tre as narrative director.
In the end, we really were discarded.
Oh, well, I don't know about resigning. I'm just, you know, I think he's got some really good ideas.
Absolute cinema.
Some other things that Super Pig is asking is, does the game lean more towards introspection and character development, or spectacle and action? And we honestly kind of are taking a methodology where we're trying to balance the two in a way. Where when you're at home in the hub or interacting with characters, we plan for there to be a lot of character development. And while some of this you won't really be seeing much until the full game, compared to the demo, we really want a lot of introspection, and because the cyberpunk genre often doesn't really deal with massive global stakes, but it's very down to earth. It's about you and saving yourself and the people that you love. And so when you bond with characters and you meet them and you even romance them, you get to see how these people grow from being characters that have been discarded by the world around them, and how they grow and develop and change. And I think that's a very important thing that we're trying to convey through the story. Trevor's going to be able to answer more of the spectacle and action as the game director.
Yeah, so when it comes to the spectacle and action of everything, we are going for something that's not very common within this genre. We're going for a lot of really heavy impacts and animations that should make you feel like you're almost in an action or fighting game. Everything's kind of meant to link together and really flow well to kind of sell the idea of chaining together a combo, which is what the core gameplay is kind of built around. And that is also how I feel like we're able to get away with a lot of the music that we're choosing to do so. Because typically in these types of games, you wouldn't be able to get away with anything too fast-paced. Otherwise, it would just kind of feel out of place. And with making the gameplay and animations flow more like an action game, we're able to more closely mimic the inspirations that we had when creating it. Which, Tre, you may be able to add more onto the music side of things and how we're tapping into that flow.
Absolutely. Since this is like a card battler, we kind of are able to kind of set a pace and leave it that way. We're kind of, I guess for the audio nerds who are like following this for that, we have started looking into using Wise as our middleware to kind of get everything implemented. And we decided that like the idea of finding specific points in each song that are like the most important, quote unquote, and letting those be like the point of impact for the game and letting them have space to breathe and loop as the game progresses is kind of the idea that we're looking at now. And for a game that's super like narratively dense like Discarded is going to be, I think that's the most important. Like, we can get to an important part in the story or an important part just even in the middle of a fight and then cause stuff to trigger so that it matches the vibe.
Yeah. And it's also going to be very funny once people start breaking the game and what's supposed to be this long, cool boss fight gets like, it gets to the trigger where the music happens and then it just completely cuts out because they killed the boss. But
that's going to be so fun.
It's going to be very funny to watch, especially when it comes to like speed runs.
It's going to be the weirdest DJ set ever, but it'll be a cool speed run.
Did you want to also, Trevor, since we're here, did you want to answer the other question we had? What's the tone of the game in the spectrum of more serious versus silly?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, Discarded covers a lot of very serious topics. So when it comes to handling those topics, we want to keep it pretty serious. However, if we stayed in the darkness and the grittiness of the world, it would kind of defeat a lot of the point in the messaging of the game. So I'd say roughly a 60-40 split is what we have in terms of seriousness and silliness. We want there to be levity in like the interactions between characters because they are the spirit behind this game and its message, but at the same time, the game's heavy. I think, Rose, you can definitely agree and touch on that, but there's a lot of stuff in this game that has genuinely made multiple members of the team already cry.
Yeah, I mean, and just of the people we've talked about, I mean, even today with Typhos has kind of been the cause of a lot of really terrible things. I mean, one of his main jobs was training a lot of the soldiers that come through JSAR, and a lot of those soldiers tend to not be exactly of the appropriate age to join the military, and nor have all been willingly recruited. There's a lot of very serious topics, and to treat them as respectfully as they deserve, we are taking a much more serious tone with that. But while, like Trevor said, you know, the characters, when they talk with each other, there's a bit of levity in there. I mean, Fel literally calls someone a mascot at one point, so you know, there's some charm and mocking between them, and as you're able to interact with characters back in the hub and talk with them more, you know, you're able to have a little bit of relaxation and a little bit of, you know, things. The world isn't so terrible because the people around you are there with you through it.
As said, it's about saving you and your friends. So the characters and the friends you make along the way have to be genuinely the part that brings life to your run and the story that we tell.
You can't discard them.
You can't discard them. Yeah. You know what?
Because they've already been discarded.
That is genuinely like a core theme to the story. Everyone's at their lowest point. And it's all about recovering from there.
Yeah, we'll probably talk more on themes, you know, in the future, if and when, you know, we have a bit more of a narrative-focused episode. But yeah, next question that I think I can answer is, so Superpig also says they've not really played Hades, but obviously we've said that it's an inspiration for us, especially for narrative. And so the way that our elements work, especially when it comes to how the world and our kind of hub location will change after a run, is that you're not going to see it very much in the demo, but post-game, there's going to be a lot of changing. Ideally, every time you return to the hub, things will have changed. Every time you go into combat, people and NPCs and characters will react to the things and the ways that you play the game, whether that be relics that you have on you, team comps that you've chosen, characters that you are. Everything will kind of change around it. And after each run, and you return back to home base, there will be things for you to talk about, things for you to discuss, and some of the characters will react and respond to you returning back to them. A lot of it is very spoiler heavy, and we've got a lot of secrets and ways that we're spicing up the genre compared to just saying we're a pure inspiration from Hades. But we have a lot of really fun twists that we're going to be implementing in the narrative that I won't go into, but needless to say, there will be impacts in the story as you go through every single run.
Continuing from Super Pig's questions, we also have the question, what made you settle on the visual style you're using? So, with that, as you may find to be a trend, I just happen to be exploring around for certain styles. And I came across Yeli-sama when I was trying to decide what I wanted the visual novel sprite to be. And as is common at this point, I ended up sending them a cold email just to see, hey, would you be interested in potentially working with us? And to my surprise, they were fully on board. It took a bit of back and forth, as is to be expected, but from there, the reason behind it is it had just such this cool style, almost comic book, or sometimes a bit. It's very comic book, very painterly, with just that extra little pop of color and halftones in it. And I thought that was a very cool and unique style. And just in general, it led to a very cool, cohesive vision for the game. Now, when we go to the 2.5D look, it was honestly in large part just determining what I wanted our pixel art style to be. I knew I wanted to do pixel because it would be a bit easier for the entire process. And then as I began to think about it and play on my own experiences, a lot of my background lies in lighting design for theater and film. So I wanted to find something that I could use to apply that skill in, and 2.5D just happened to be the right thing. So when I came across Octopath Traveler and saw just the gorgeous lighting and effects in that game, I knew that that was what I wanted to do. And then from there
honestly,
I found Oh, please.
Oh. And honestly, when I first heard about the 2.5D, I was never really a big fan of the style itself. I hadn't really played many games with the style. So hearing it, I definitely found myself a bit like, man, how is this gonna look, and how is this even really gonna work? And so, yeah, I'll count myself as, I was a little hesitant at first, but seeing the actual background combined with some lighting and VFX and the animation, it was really cool, honestly. I mean, there's not many games, I think, that do use a 2.5D. The ones that do, obviously they do it very well, but there's not many games that do it. So I think it's very visually striking combined with how many different visual elements we're going to be using, and I think it is definitely, after seeing it all together, it was definitely a really good choice to go.
Yeah, and there were also some other, as I started to look into it and try and sell the idea to the team, there were some other really cool 2.5D cyberpunk games I came across, like Neon Blood, Replaced, and Quantic River, which all had really striking lighting within that I was able to then turn to the team and go, hey, here's kind of the idea behind it. Now, it's obviously not going to be one-to-one, but it does give an idea of how things can look and what we're striving for, especially in the light.
So, as our last question, we have, has the vision for the game shifted significantly since development began?
I would say yes. Mind you, this game has been kind of a very funny, just building as we go for the most part. It was kind of figuring out the pieces that fit and just slowly building up a wall that all came together to build the foundation of what became Discarded. And the scope of the original idea was much smaller than what we have now. As we began to see that there was a lot more support for the game, and just more and more big people joining up on the project and just sharing that passion for it, the scope of what we were able to accomplish and what we want to do grew with it. That's not to say that we've scope crept, as we still have kept ourselves to some pretty core tenets on what we want to accomplish, but more so that what we had the capabilities of doing improved. So with that, the type of music we were making, originally it was all going to be Mario Celo Nunez, and now we have a list of like 20 people who are all on board on the game to work on music alone, and it's just been a crazy ride of being able to kind of make this truly into the polished piece of work that we want it to be.
Yeah, we've definitely all put a lot of work into wanting to see it come to life. I mean, a lot of us are on this project doing it, you know, on our free time whenever we can, because we see the potential in it, see the faith in it. So we're excited to see where it comes and where it goes.
Trey, thanks for joining us. It really is always such a pleasure to talk with you, and genuinely, I cannot thank you enough for being here and being on this team. It, as I said earlier, means the world, and we are making some really cool shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been really a joy to, you know, meet you and see the work that you do. Oh my god, I'm so excited for the final Typhos track. You have no idea. I'm gonna have it on fucking loop when we have it. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. And you know, thanks for having me on this episode. And of course, like, I'm always super happy to be part of the team.
Though we do not have a large audience yet, where could people find you?
Yeah, well, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that other social media garbage. My handle is at Tre, Tre, Watson Music on pretty much everything. I'm pretty easy to find.
And with that, yet again, it's important to just bring up and remember, every week we will be answering questions from our community, both in the Discord and underneath this video. So please be sure to leave
every
a
other
comment down
week.
below. Every other week.
Every other week. Yeah, not every week. We might die. We do have to have time to make the game.
That is true.
But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We appreciate you being here. We're excited to show you more about the game. And we'll be seeing you next time.
See you soon, guys.